Welcome to Talkin the Gridiron, your ultimate destination for all things NFL. We're here to deep dive into the heart of football, breaking down the action, the strategies, and the stories that make the NFL so electrifying. From the Sunday showdowns to Monday Night Magic, we're covering every touchdown, tackle, and timeout. So grab your game day snacks, settle into your favorite chair, and join us as we navigate the highs and lows of the gridiron, where the game is always on and the conversation never stops.
And we are live here Sunday night, October 13th. Brian, the main man Johnson, with me here. Week 6 recap. We'll get to all the games in here. We'll get to some of the not so good games as well. We're going to touch on a lot of stuff. We want to get into the top storylines of Week 6 here. And Brian, the main man Johnson, we will be joined by Jimmy Pilato, that's celebrating his birthday out in Raiders territory, Las Vegas, out there, Las Vegas, Nevada. He'll be tuning in here in just a little bit here. That's where we're going to start here in a minute. Terrell, hopefully, will be able to jump on as well right away. This is where we're at, right? Jason's right on the topic. Fire McCarthy, fire Pierce. Johnson, let's start there. Cowboys crushed. Jared Goff, 3 touchdown passes. Lions win 47-9. Game was never close, ever. Not even a thought about it. The Cowboys continue to not just look bad, look awful, like they've quit on their head coach. And like we have up here on Talking the Gridiron, we have will he get fired up there? Will McCarthy get fired, as Jimmy Pilato is joining us as well from Vegas out there. Jimmy, we're just talking about the Cowboys going in there out in Vegas. McCarthy getting fired is kind of where we're at with it. What do you think? You think he gets fired there?
Honestly, Jerry Jones is a lot like Paul Brown and Mike Brown in the fact that he likes to keep coaching around. The only ones that he doesn't like are the ones that try and take credit for what the team does, which is why he got rid of Jimmy Johnson. But he kept Jason Garrett around so long, and I know this is different, but they're still somewhat successful. And that's really all they're looking for. They're looking to make money. They're one of those franchises very similar to the Rockies in baseball, and a lot of the baseball owners, people to pay attention to them and spend money on this.
Jimmy, good to have you with us. Well, I know you got the background there too. We'll keep it going. I appreciate that is good broadcasting. That's a guy that knows the business well. Out there. Hey, hope you're doing good out there though in Vegas. Where are you at? Where are you staying? You said again.
We're staying at the Luxor. We're checking out the New York right now.
All right, that's a good one out there. New York is playing right now. We got the New York Mets playing, and then we got the Giants as well playing against your Bengals there in a Brian, a real barn burner.
Who's
So 7-0.
7-0. They're on fire. We don't. Oh, wait, hold on. That's not the team that was so great last night. You had a good short with that one last week with the hat, so that was really good that you guys had that on your podcast as well. Back to Cowboys though. Here they get Johnson. Is he fired? Is McCarthy fired? They have the bye week? Does he come back, or does, like kind of Jimmy said, Jerry Jones does not like to fire people mid-season very often? What do you think?
I don't know. It just comes down to the point that what's going on with Dallas right now. CD's yelling at Dak every week, and he's tuning CD out, and you just put up a performance like this. I mean, in my opinion, McCarthy deserves to get fired, but will he? Because it just seems like Jerry Jones, he's just going to slug his shoulders and pretend like, oh, we'll just go on to next week. And I don't know. That just seems like
Prescott had 100. He was 17 for 33, 178 yards, 2 interceptions, sacked 4 times. Lamb had the 7 for 89. Yeah, they're a team that you see bad chemistry too. You see that right at a sport. You're just you can see the pieces. There's no belief, it feels like, Jimmy, in Prescott. He got paid like he should be carrying this team. And if your players around him, right, that matters. Where it's well, this guy, we need to rely on this guy to help get us there. He's not there. And Lamb is showing signs of not being a leader. He's competitive. I get all that, but I don't know. I think the Cowboys are in favor of just a real nosedive down.
I truly think that, looking over at the defensive side, Michael Parsons is not going to be there for however long, but it is truly everybody's just out for theirs. They've kind of recognized that nobody's here to win championships. They want to be relevant, and I guess if we're going to be relevant, Dak needs a couple more endorsements. Michael will get a couple more endorsements. Gary will continue to go on radio every single week. And they're interested in winning football games, so change it. But that's not something they're interested in.
It's funny that one of the greatest things, Brian, I remember as in the Cowboys thing is how proud Jerry Jones was they got Pepsi. I remember that's just kind of the owner he is a little bit. He was like, yes, we got it. We got Pepsi.
But I mean, what can you expect when you bring Elliott in as the lead running back when you could have brought anybody else in? It's just like he needs a running game, and they have not had a running game all season. And this is starting, I think, it's going to nosedive for this team.
Jimmy?
You're going to make sure that we mention while the ownership on the field and the team product has been so with Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
The reason why we have football set up the way that we do, and we've had 55 straight days of football, college, and NFL, is because of the work that he did with the TV broadcasting as soon as he came in as an owner.
That's fair.
That was one of the major things. Him and Pat Bowlen, a few other. That's where the Fox contract came from. It used to just be NBC and CBS, and now it's spread out. We have Sunday Ticket and NFL Red Zone because of those guys. So yes, the team that they put together isn't great, but that is, if you love football, then you have him to thank.
There is that side of it from the marketing side that he obviously has really taken the game to another level. But if you're a fan of the team, you've been a fan the last 30 years, it's been rough. That's like they've been better than like our teams, obviously, but they still, Jimmy, have the playoff failure along the way there with it. And when I say our teams, I mean I'm also including the Broncos.
You can include the Broncos today. That was, I guess, the Broncos fans are gonna kill me on our show because I'm a mush. That's all I am.
Hey, did you watch the games out there today by chance, or were you guys doing other things?
We watched a little bit of them. Yeah, the morning games more so. I was watching the Commanders Ravens pretty closely. The Packers Cardinals, I watched that one too. I tweeted about that one earlier.
What'd you think of the Lions losing Hutchinson? I mean, that's a pretty big blow for the whole season. He's kind of like he is the opposite of what we just said. Kind of some of the Cowboys were. He is, to me, looked upon as one of us heart and soul guy for their team. They get the win 47-9, but man, to come out losing him, that kind of feels like a little bit of a loss as well, in a sense. What do you think, Jimmy?
It's going to be rough. That's the worst part about this league is that when you feel like everything's going in the right direction and this team is playing at a very high level, you will get certain things that happen, and you're going to have to – that's why championship teams are what they are, because they have to figure out how to overcome these things.
Brian, what do you think? That was a pretty nasty-looking injury as well.
Yeah, I found out after the game that he broke his fibula, so he's going to have surgery later tonight. So it's definitely he's done for the rest of the season, and that's a huge loss to their defense because you got to have a defense. I get they can run the score up on people, but if you can't stop people, then it's going to be a hard task.
Tom said they're the best team in the NFC, maybe in the NFL. What do you think? You agree with him? You think the Lions are now the best at this point, Brian?
No, I mean it's after that injury. I mean, and then there's some other teams that are kind of falling down. I'd say the Vikings are number one right now. But, I mean, you still can't count out the 49ers. They can still hit a hot streak, and they still have a lot of talent. So,
well, Jimmy, we know we only got you for a few, so you tell me when you got to go on this. But I did want to get you on this game. You mentioned it, too. The Ravens they're like one of the best teams ever in October. And they're like Harbaugh. They don't lose in October. Henry seems to have really figured it out with them a little bit. Commanders show a little heart along the way there. The Ravens, to me, this is where they're going to start making their push again. Like Andrews gets involved with the touchdown a little bit. Like this seems like where they're going to take off a little bit here in the AFC.
They had a rough start, just like a lot of the other teams besides the Steelers in the AFC North. But this was a team that everybody, even with that rough start, was like, that they're going to be what they are. This is a very talented team, a very physical team, and physicality travels. And physicality was what led the day today. Jaden Daniels was awesome. But you can't tell me that a lot of those drops that I was seeing isn't because the Commanders receivers are running out there like with their head on shoulder. Where's Roquan Smith? Where's Kyle Hamilton? Where's the next Kyle Van Noy? Where's the next guy that's going to take my head off? The Ravens may or may not be the best team depending on how they play. Sometimes they look like the best team in the league. Yeah. Their mentality scares the shit out of everybody. No, it does. When you can scare another NFL team, that's when you see Derrick Henry knocking people out with his hip and running as well as he has. This is tractor sequence. Everybody should have known, and the Titans knew that this was going to happen. The Titans didn't think that Derrick Henry was just going to fall off when they let him go. They just decided to go in a different way. And kudos to Derrick Henry and the Baltimore Ravens because that is a match made in heaven.
Derrick Henry is in heaven right now. He is there. He is exactly where it is. He doesn't have Mr. Tannehill. He doesn't have these other guys that are back there as for quarterback for him. He's got lots of options. He's running it more free than he ever has before, it feels like. And they moved to first place 4-2 tied with the Steelers. There, Johnson. Lamar, again, has a really good game. Doesn't get the touchdown necessarily, but was efficient as well there. And then you have the Commanders who put up a good fight. You know, obviously, it kind of felt like they were not going to win it, but they did hang around in the game too. What'd you make of that? The Ravens there, Brian, with that one?
Yeah, they just seem like a really hot team right now, and they're playing at a high level. It's going to take a lot to beat them right now because, I mean, it's like pick your poison. It's either, you know, Zach Flowers or, you know, Derrick Henry or, you know,
Or
now
Lamar.
it seems like they're getting Andrews more involved in the offense too. So
Andrews helps my fantasy team, but the fact that Justice Hill didn't get any of the carries this week killed me.
they did help you with that. What's Henry have 9 touchdowns now on the season? People keep posing the question: will he be like? Is he the next? Is he going to be the only running back in the next 10 years to make the Hall of Fame or something like that? It's kind of an interesting debate.
He's the last of the generation. Like he's the last running back that's going to have 10,000 plus rushing yards because they just don't play that long. He's the last running back that's going to have 100 plus touchdowns. It's going to be like until, I mean, maybe Genty. I know that Genty's been the hot topic, moving a little bit more to college football, but I don't see a running back outside of Derrick Henry that's used in the same way that's going to stick around as long as he. That's the thing. Nobody uses him as much as the Titans used him early in his career.
Speaking of college football, stayed up late watching a little bit of Colorado not finish the job against Kansas State. I thought
that was pass interference, by the way. That was definitely pass interference. It should have been flagged. It should have been. The referees just decided to take that one. They decided they didn't want any extra football.
You guys have like the way that stadium's set up has always been really cool to me. Like there's something about that stadium though, the way that it's designed.
If you've ever seen the view from the stadium, like the Flatirons, and you can go back and watch the 30 for 30 with Bill McCartney when they won the share of the national title, and you can look at like Alfred Williams and all of these other really high level guys that they go to see you. I looked at the Flatiron and I was like, holy shit, I can go to school here? Yeah, you can. That's just, you turn your head around your porch and you're like, that's beautiful.
It's one of the best campuses I've seen. Like it really, and then you had last night too. There was few other, not as good as last week, but that was still a good game in college football. So we got that one. The Ravens pull out. I wanted I'm not sure when you have to go here. I know you're getting close to 20, but I wanted to get your thoughts on this before you maybe go, Jimmy. And that's the Eagles. We've talked about them a little bit here, and kind of like they're doing. Sirianni always makes a little headlines.
What are you doing, man? What are you doing here? You barely beat the Browns. Like, man, he's on really thin ice with this team.
I like my guy Savage out of Memphis, who's the Eagles fan. I'll be on his podcast actually tomorrow. Looking forward to that. He's like, we have CM Punk as our head coach. So he's like, basically that's what he's like, you know. And then he's always just, it's just unnecessary. I know, I get it's his style. I don't know, but it just seems like the way things are, you know, going, it's not necessarily the right move at this point with it. So I don't know. Jimmy, what do you think?
Read a room, Nick.
Well said. That's what it was. It's read room 20-16 over the Browns. Right?
It's the same thing when he was staring down the barrel of the camera in the playoffs. Like, at some point, things are not going to be going as well as they have been. And you have to – they tell that to – we all love WWE. They tell that to the heels. Like, you can't tear somebody down all the way. You have to leave a little bit of good because if you tear somebody down and you lose, you lost to a loser. If you tear somebody down and get beat and you win, then you beat a loser. So, like, Nick Sirianni has no understanding of that. Nick Sirianni is doing his – whatever he thinks is the right thing. I would not want to play for that guy.
You're right. That face thing was always that little. I forgot kind of about that where he does that right into the camera. Brian, you've hated him for a while. I know that. The Browns continue to just be pathetic. I mean, what? When are they just gonna run Watson out every week and just like let him set records every week? Like He's 0 for 9 on third downs, all that stuff. So I don't know. The Browns.
Yeah, I mean, I thought maybe Nick Chubb came back, so I thought it would at least give him something, but they still look just terrible right now. Like they're just like the team is just giving up on Watson. They're like, put somebody else in.
This game felt like two squads that don't really believe in each other. Like 20, you would think the Eagles should dominate. The Browns are 16 points. I mean, they got a late kind of. They had a chance to tie it up, and of course, in Brown style, Jimmy, they settle for a field goal to make it 20-16, and then they never get the ball back at that point.
Why not?
Why not?
Take the points. Take the points, and then trust your defense. Oh, right.
I know that never works out with it. What do you got, man? You probably got to get going here.
I'm close. I am. The game is going the way that I anticipated it. That's the reason why it's not. Terrell was giving me the shit for it last week, and Nico said the same thing. Like, yes, obviously I'm still paying attention. Right now I'm very upset. I'm still very upset. It's not like I've gone back to them. They need to prove a lot to me, and they're not doing it right now because we are getting out-physicaled on our offensive line. We're getting out-physicaled by the New York Giants.
Your team is the definition of not consistent. It is like they are like you get 35 points against the Ravens, and then you end up with 7 right now against the Giants. It just doesn't make any sense.
120 points over 3 weeks and ended up with 1 win.
I mean, I guess you're giving up 0 points. That's the best thing, but you are playing the Giants, so I see what happens. 7.
Danny Dimes is going to have a huge third quarter. Quarter. Danny Dimes is going off.
You can't lose this game. To go 1-5.
Oh, we can.
No,
we can, and just watch
Ryan. No. No, they can't do that.
How hot would be Zach Taylor's seat if you guys start 1-5?
The fan base wise, his seat is already scalding. Like he's Ghost Rider. He's sitting in a burning ball of flame. The ownership, he probably has another 2 seasons of this, of having all the expectations and not doing anything until they go, oh well, I guess our expectations are too high, and he's going to stick around for another 12 years. I just know it. As a fan of this team for as long as I have been, he's going to be here forever.
7-0 right now. Your Bengals still leading over the Giants. It looks like what do we got here? Giants have the ball here about midfield, third quarter.
Moss ended up fumbling for the Bengals, so that's how the Giants got the ball back.
What do you guys make of maybe this or Williams? He's starting to heat up a little bit there. He's they get the win in London. Very impressive. I mean, maybe another coach that's fired though, Jimmy, is Mr. Peterson. I don't know. Like it seems like at this point of the season, there's a lot of guys where you're like, I don't know. Even the Raiders, Pierce. Like, I mean, there's a chance Peterson doesn't make it through this next couple weeks if they lose again here.
This would be probably the worst thing for him because he's the Jaguars head coach and they just got their asses kicked in London. And we all know how Sean Khan feels about London. And I said it a few weeks ago that Doug Peterson to me has been in a Steve Spurrier era for the last year and a half, where he's more likely to cancel practice and go golf than actually put together a game plan. He's won a Super Bowl. He's good. He's not doing anything else. He's just here to collect a paycheck. If you're going to pay him, keep paying him. If not, let's get rid of him and find somebody that's willing to work to win. He's not willing to work to win with that team. You can't put up the performance they had last week and then turn around and do that against a rookie quarterback. That's bad.
On that note, this is where I think it will be interesting. So they play again next week in London against the Patriots, a rookie quarterback. So if they lose again, and especially if it's by double digits, that's to me where, like, if you're an owner, you're like, we lost both games in London. So I don't know.
If Drake May throws a touchdown pass, Doug Peterson should not make it off the sideline. They should do like one of those European soccer players. Be like, yeah, you know what? We're just not going to, don't even worry about coming off the field. Just go up and.
Are the Bears going to be the biggest surprise here? Are the Bears going to be the biggest surprise in the NFL? Are they going to actually make the playoffs here? Is that what's going to happen? Johnson, Jimmy, thanks for coming on. Look, we lost a little signal there with it. Appreciate you jumping on from Vegas there. If you jump back on, of course, come on with it. What do you got, Brian?
I don't know. I just feel like they played a really bad team. I got to see them play somebody a lot better than this to, say they're going to be a juggernaut in the NFC. I still think it's Detroit, Green Bay, 49ers right now in the NFC.
So not buying the Bears hype yet. Not
No,
buying the Bears hype yet. All right. Well, I mean, they're still right. I mean, if we look at the standings, right, they're in last place currently, but they are 4-2. So it's not like they're having a bad. It's kind of funny. The 4-2 and you're in last place in your division. Yeah, not usually the way it ends up. What do you think about
Mayfield? You're just in a loaded division. It's tough, man.
Absolutely. What do you think of Mayfield today? He gets the win.
It's improving.
It kind of concerned me in the second half that he was letting the Saints back in it, but he ended up finishing it off. And man, the Saints giving up 51 points to a team. Their defense just looks like trash right now.
Man, and again, the rookie. It would be 4 rookie quarterbacks going today. Rattler went for them. He looked. I mean, he had his moments, but he definitely had his moments of looking like a rookie. This play was unbelievable. Tackle, for goodness sakes! You give up a 50 piece in football. You give up a 50 piece. That is
I know it's pretty bad.
What Baker
it felt like they had a chance because Mayfield threw 2 interceptions?
3.
I mean, 3 of them. So I mean, they had a chance to get back in the game, but it was just like too much inexperience. It feels like the Saints have definitely come back to earth, and Devante Adams has that black pen. He's like, he scraps the Saints. He's not going to that team this year.
They put up, so they rushed for 3. The Bucks rushed for 277 yards on 35 carries, and they passed for 325 yards on 24 receptions. So to say they had a good offensive day is an understatement. That's
I got to include the Bucks. The Bucks are in the higher echelon of the NFC teams too. So I'd say the Lions, Niners, and then I would go with the Bucks. Yeah, I mean, because Baker Mayfield's playing at a high level right now. So,
and the Saints now dropped to 2-4. So we'll see that. And Carr's supposed to miss another game. So it'll be interesting where their season goes from here.
And they're going against Jimmy's Denver Broncos on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, you're right. They have that matchup as well. And we'll see what happens with, I always said this about the Saints coach too. So there's a lot of coaches I feel like that are just kind of right on the hot seat with like a lot of things here. So we'll see where everything leads there at that as well. Mayfield, though, gets the job done, and not one of his best games of the year, technically, with the 3 picks there.
The Giants just tied up the score on the Bengals, so it's 7-7.
What'd we get?
A running touchdown by their. I'm going to be honest. I don't know who the Giants running back is at this point, but he scored a touchdown.
At least you didn't say Saquon Barkley. At least you didn't say Saquon. When we get it up there, I'll get it. We'll get this touchdown up here. Who got the rushing touchdown for us here? Tracy Jr., Tyrone Tracy Jr. How do you not know him what school do you think he went to? Take a guess, Tracy Jr. He played in the Big Ten. I'll give you that.
The Big Ten. He played in the Big Ten.
Give me a guess.
Ohio State.
Aiden O'Connell special, Purdue. He went to Purdue University out there. Right. So we have that with it. So we talked Bears with it. Packers, they get the win over my Cards. Cards beat your Niners, and then they come out flat. Harrison gets the concussion. Love made a couple spectacular plays along the way. Jacobs gets 18 carries, 68 yards. Not like nothing to kind of write home about, but it's still kind of steady yards for Green Bay that sometimes they need. So what do you make of the Packers? Are you kind of a believer in them now, or because I know you've always kind of questioned Love a little bit. So where are you at with them?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna say the Packers are one of those teams, and that you gotta say that they're gonna be there in the NFC discussion to go to the Super Bowl. I mean, Love seems like he's over his injury and he's playing at a high level right now, and it really shows that the Niners should have blown the Cards out last week. They should have done what the Packers did this week. I don't know what the heck happened, and
the car. I mean, you guys were just in a bad spot. It was too hot.
Yes.
Too hot in Santa Clara. It was too hot. Too hot in there. Harrison goes down with the concussion. That's a big loss for the Cardinals in this game. Great uniform match. I'm a Cardinals. These are the uniforms I like. The Cardinals. These are the ones that make me. That's what everybody hates the hat. Hates on the hat, but that's what it's about right there. So we got that with it. So we talked about Hurts. We talked about the Eagles already. Do you think the Packers, though, to put kind of a little bow on them, do you think there's a world that they get first place and beat out the Lions? Do you think they get that done, or do you think that it's the Lions division by far?
Yeah, I mean, especially with Hutchinson going out, and I feel like I just don't trust the Vikings in the second half. I think they're going to show they're just going to show who they are, and I don't know. It's like I think what NFL teams need to do with Darnold is make them beat them, like take away the running game and just start scoring on them. And I just think eventually Darnold's going to show what kind of quarterback he is, and I think it's very possible Green Bay could win that division.
Man, if they do too, that'd be tough for the Lions, but we'll see what happens there. Like I said, I think the Lions have proven themselves to be the best team there in that division, but we'll see overall what goes on with it. We got a couple OEAs along the way. We had the Texans move to 5-1. They get the win over the Patriots. May does show a little life for them, but the Texans just kind of ho-hum there. Johnson getting the job done, moving to 5-1, looking like they're going to take that division pretty handily, I would say. Maybe the Colts give them a little run, but I don't know. We'll see. They're definitely the better team in that division. So they continue to do well. But even if you're a Patriots fan, I mean, 3 touchdowns, 243 yards. He showed some plays. At least you're not watching Brissett out there. So I'd be happy if I.
I know Jimmy said if May scores a touchdown, he's gone. But he's going to get more than a touchdown against the Jags. As I said.
I'm with you on it. The other OEA of the week is we had the Colts. Like you said, they kind of a real barn burner out there against the Titans over there. What Ridley go off saying he's like, you got to get me the ball. And Calvin Ridley, the wide receiver for the Titans, but he had 8 targets. So I don't know. Obviously, maybe the quarterback threw it like 50 feet over his head on every one, but maybe Will Levis is not going to be the quarterback of the future there for the Titans.
Yeah, exactly. The Mayo man. He should. It's not going to happen.
He's not. He hasn't been. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. The Colts is always. They're like they just always are going to hover around 500. That just kind of seems like where they're always going to be.
But I just feel like Houston just owns that division, and they're going to win that hand over foot.
Yeah, I know they are. Is it hand over foot or hand over fist? I think it's whatever. Down there from the University of Purdue. There now, Brian. That we got it there. So tied up at 7. Jimmy may be right. Maybe there's a big L coming for this team.
except they just got a big pass to Chase. They're in the red zone. So.
And how do they go 1-5 though? That's like you don't go to 1-5 if you're the Bengals. Like that's not.
Yeah, you got to find a way to beat the New York Giants right now.
Yeah. That's not good when you're doing something like that. So. So they got the Bengals there. They're kind of holding on 7-7. They have a big pass play. We'll see if they can kind of get it going here. Talking the Gridiron week 6. All right, how about we get to the afternoon delight here? We get to that part of the show here with this. We'll go to the afternoon delight. My Raiders, again, they make the quarterback, make the QB change, and just pathetic. They're never in the game. Really, it feels like they fumble constantly. Well, they were ahead, and then Watt punches the ball out there, and then when it kind of looks like we could maybe get back into the game, cut it into 1 score, they fumble again at the goal line, and Aiden O'Connell 27 for 40, 227, but kind of like Tyler said, he isn't it. He's not like you can just see like it's not going to be a game changer in any regard. And Antonio Pierce doesn't. He's such a defensive-minded coach. Like they run the ball a lot on like 1st and 2nd down. They run it a ton on 1st and 2nd. They're not necessarily a great running team. So I don't know. These are some of the things that the Raiders are really battling right now. And the Steelers took advantage of it in 32-13. They move on and continue to just be a better franchise than the Raiders. I mean, these are just like they're just a better franchise, and they prove it this way. Harris gets 100 yards, so that's where they're.
It seemed like Max got a little frustrated and. He probably shouldn't have done that, but he pushed the defensive coach out of the way or something. So that's probably not a good thing anytime you do that.
I don't know where the Raiders go from here. The Adams thing, we talked about it this morning a little bit. I don't know. They got to get something for him. I mean, you can't just have him sit out the whole year. It'd be nice to leave, even if you got a 3rd-round pick and you don't have to give up the money, or a 4th-round pick and you didn't have to pay the money. You got to get something out of it for this season. I mean, he's not going to help him anymore.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's by next year, you guys got to have some sort of franchise quarterback. I really think it's affecting your team just not having somebody who can, be a quarterback. I mean, you went out and got Minshew. Now you're aiding O'Connell, and it just isn't working out. And I think it's just affecting your team right now.
Did we get Daniel Jones somehow in a trade? Do we get just keep getting mediocre quarterbacks?
I think you need to try to either tank to get a really good pick in the draft, or go out and trade up and get Deion Sanders' son or something. Like get somebody that's going to bring juice to your franchise. I think that's the type of guy who could do that.
That would be nice if we could get Deion Sanders' son.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, a lot of people have been ripping on that one, but I don't really mind it either. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you just need somebody who you can consider a franchise, somebody who brings a little bit of swagger to the Raiders.
Yeah, exactly. I'm still here, Brian. Sometimes my video sometimes goes off with it, but I'm still here. So we'll finish it out here. What team should we cross off the list this week?
I would definitely, after today's loss, have we crossed off the Titans, right?
We have got the Titans on the list there. So right now we have the Giants, Panthers, Rams, Titans, Browns, Patriots, Raiders. So those are the ones we have on the list right now. So I don't know. I'm not sure who we add to it. Do we add the Cowboys to the list?
I don't know, because the NFC East is so open still. So I don't know if you could cross them off the list yet.
Who was also the Chargers and Broncos? Chargers beat the Broncos pretty easily. They didn't beat them easily. They were ahead in Charger fashion, 23-0 or 20-0, and the Broncos, of course, came back to make it a close game as well. So those teams survive as well. I don't know, but the Cardinals, no. Saints, they're both 2-4 of those teams. I don't think we can put them on yet. So, well, maybe this is a rare week. We'll give the Cowboys. How about the Jaguars? Do we add the Jags to the list? Or we get?
Yeah, definitely. They only have one win, so you got to put the Jags on there, I think.
All right, we'll go with a little Jaguar action here. We'll go with a little wild quit there. We'll go Jaguars. Yeah. So Jaguars, they end up making the list here then. All right, week 7, Brian. Niners, Chiefs. That's the big game, right? This next week ahead, as we look to week 7.
Yeah, I'm already nervous already. It's a big game. If we win this one, then we play Dallas at home on Sunday night. So it's a possibility of going, 2 for 2 and heading into the bye week 5-3. So it's a huge game.
Yeah, that's the biggest game I see no doubt the biggest game of the schedule there as we look ahead to week 7. There's no doubt about it. Thursday night, you got Denver at New Orleans.
We're going to have another snoozer on Sunday night, Jets versus the Steelers.
It doesn't get you going a little bit. It doesn't get the bones moving a little bit.
No, it doesn't.
There's a double Monday.
I just feel like after the Sola signing that the Jets could just go on a downhill turn. I don't know. I don't think firing your coach after 5 weeks when you were a decent team was a smart move. Yeah.
We got to get extra security to get him out of the stadium. Got to get him out. Exactly. A double Monday night game. You got Baltimore at Tampa. That's not a bad game. And then you got Chargers at Arizona. So not a terrible Monday night doubleheader there. Could be worse. Let's put it that way. But the first game, Baltimore Tampa, is kind of an interesting one. So that one, I like a little bit too. Detroit at Minnesota as well, and Houston at Green Bay. So those are also another couple games there that I think matter. And then we have Seattle, Atlanta. We didn't get to Atlanta much. They won again today. So kind of see if Atlanta can keep just chalking up the wins here against teams they should beat and kind of get themselves to 5-2 in that division. Who you got tomorrow?
It feels like Kirk Cousins is kind of getting into a groove in that new offense.
You got to get the hands up. We're doing it John Hendricks style. Like I said, Who do you got tomorrow? Bills, Jets.
Definitely the Bills. I think Josh Allen has a bounce back effort. I think I just feel like they're going to win that game 31-17.
All right, I got the Bills too. I think Aaron Rodgers. Come on, Bill, show some heart here a little bit. I believed in you at the beginning of the year. Prove me right a little bit. Kind of show me a little light.
I think we might see a Rodgers helmet throw on the sidelines this week.
Here comes the putter throw. Now we got that. We don't have the putter throw. Unbelievable. Maybe we do get that from him, Johnson. Who knows? Maybe he does give us the. So what do you got? What do you got for winners and losers of the week here? What team or player?
Definitely the loser of the week. I hate to go because I know it's your franchise, but the Raiders, like they got to figure something out. They got to get franchise quarterback in, and they just have too much turmoil going on right now.
I mean, we talked about the Cowboys, right, already. They're terrible as well. And the Raiders and Cowboys are very similar in that regard. Just absolutely awful. We've pounded on the Browns enough as well. I think it's the coaches. There's so many, it feels like, that are going to be on the hot seat here. This is kind of a critical time of the season. So you got 2-4. You win next week, that goes to 3-4. You lose, it goes to 2-5. That really makes a big difference in the season here, especially for owners. And can they save a season? So there's a few names out there, Johnson, that'll be interesting to see how far they survive. And
I feel like the Jags coach is that machine where you cook the meat on the top. He's on that. He's on that machine. He's getting cooked, and one more loss, and he's out of there.
One more, and he's gone. See you later, buddy. What do you got for winner of the week? We'll call it a show here.
The winner of the week, I definitely got to go with I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers. They were close to going 2-4. They almost blew another game, but they pulled out the victory. They're 3-3, and they're in first place. And like I said, two more wins, and they could be 5-3 going into the bye week. So that was a huge win, in my opinion, winning in Seattle.
Rattle Seattle. He got the job done there. I know that every time the Thanksgiving time. So anytime we get closer to the fall, we always think about those Seahawks eating that damn chicken. Or turkey. So it's probably good for you guys to get. Always feels good to get that win over Seattle. And Seattle maybe is now on their decline as well here. My winner of the week.
And then the other winner I could probably say is Lamar Jackson. I mean, the guy is just beating quarterback after quarterback, and he's just playing at a high level right now.
I'm going to go with, as winner of the week, Caleb Williams, 23-29, 4 touchdowns, only got the one in. Yeah, he did play against the Jaguars, like we said, but he still played really well. And then the other winner of the week is the Lions. They look like they might be the best team in the NFL at times. They do. They look like they can out-physical you, and when their passing game is on like that, Jalen Williams has turned out to be an absolute beast for them. They're really starting to figure out how to use him, so they become more and more dangerous with that as well, Brian. So those are my winners of the week. So again, it'll be interesting what it looks like as we get into week 7 next week. Tomorrow's Monday night game, Bills Jets. That will be good. So we're it's hard to believe, almost midway here in the season, as the Bengals do lead 10-7 now, but we're already close to midway through the NFL season. Nuts. Yeah,
I mean, hopefully I'll be in a very good mood after next Sunday, and hopefully we end the Chiefs' undefeated streak.
All right, you got to come on regardless next week.
Yeah,
right? You got to come on, either to complain again about Shanny blowing it to the Chiefs, or you getting the win and feeling good like you conquered God's green earth with that one. That's probably what I feel like. So. All right, man, that was a good show. Talking the Gridiron, Jimmy out there. Appreciate the comments in here as well. Josh Edwards, appreciate you chiming in with those as well with us. I know a lot going on in the sports world in October here. We got a lot going on. So football starting to heat up here. We'll be back with you again for week 7. Like we said, with the big Chiefs Niners. We'll be right there. We'll be there Sunday night, Brian. You'll fall asleep to it. We get that, but we'll be all right together. So. All right, Brian, you have a good week, man. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, you too. Peace.
All right, guys. Make sure you tune in Variety Sports Network, Talking the Gridiron. We'll see you guys next week. Out of here. Later.